When you were 7, a single summer felt like it lasted 1,000 years. The days were enormous. August was practically a different country from June. Now you're older, and an entire year can vanish between two thoughts. You blink in January, and somehow it's December. Nothing about the clock has changed. The seconds are exactly the same length they've always been. The thing that changed is you. And here's the number that ruins people. In the way your brain actually measures time, your life may already be half over by the time you turn 20. Not half your years, half your felt life. This isn't a feeling. It's mechanics. For most of history, nobody could explain it. Everyone noticed it. The old complaining that the years flew, the young swearing summer would never end. But it sat there as a mystery. Then in 1897, a French philosopher named Paul Janet wrote down the first real answer. And it's so simple, it almost feels like a trick. When you're 5, 1 year is a fifth of your entire life. An enormous slice. When you're 50, that same year is 1/50th of your life. The exact same 365 days, but now a tiny sliver against everything that came before. Each year is measured against a longer and longer total, so each one feels proportionally smaller than the last. By this math, the stretch from 5 to 10 can feel as long as the stretch from 40 all the way to 80. Read that again. 5 to 10, as long as 40 to 80. 138. That's the proportional theory, and it explains a lot. But isn't the whole story? Because proportion alone would make the slowdown smooth and gentle. It doesn't feel gentle. It feels like the floor is dropping out from under the years. There's a second thing happening, and it's the one you actually have power over. It comes down to a single word: memory. Your brain does not record time evenly. It records change. When something is new, it pays attention and lays down a thick, detailed memory. When something is familiar, it stops bothering. It runs on autopilot and saves almost nothing. Now think about a child's life. Almost all of it is new. The first day of school, the first time on a bike, the first joke you actually understood, the first funeral, the first heartbreak. A child lays down memory after memory after memory, dense and vivid, because everything is happening for the first time. Look back on a single childhood year, and it's packed wall to wall with firsts. And a year packed with memory feels enormous. Now think about a normal Tuesday in an adult life. Same alarm, same route, the same work, the same faces, food you've eaten 100 times. Your brain has seen all of it before, so it records almost none of it. The week happens, but barely anything is saved. And a year with nothing saved in it feels like nothing at all. This is why the psychologist William James, back in 1890, wrote that as we age, the days and weeks smooth themselves out into a kind of blank. The routine doesn't just feel empty. It is empty. There's nothing in it your brain decided was worth keeping. And here's where it gets stranger. Because novelty doesn't only stretch time in your memory. It stretches time while you're living it. The neuroscientist David Eagleman tested this in an almost insane way. He dropped people backwards off a tower, 150 feet of freefall onto a net, and asked them afterward how long it lasted. They all overestimated. The fall felt longer than it really was. When the brain is flooded with something new and intense, it switches into high-resolution recording, and all that extra detail tricks you into feeling that more time passed. It's why a car crash seems to happen in slow motion. Your brain wasn't slow. It was thorough. So novelty doesn't just save more memory. It dilates the present moment itself, which means a life of routine is short twice over. It feels short while you're living it, and then it vanishes when you look back. You lose the same time at both ends. Now do the test on yourself. Try to separate the last 10 years into individual years. For most people, they won't come apart. They blur into one long smear of the same job, the same rooms, the same scroll. You know things happened. You just can't feel the edges between them anymore. Compare that to almost any single year of your childhood, which probably still stands on its own, in color, with a season and a smell attached. That's not because your childhood was better. It's because your childhood was recorded. The last 10 years mostly weren't. This is the part that's supposed to feel like a sentence. The idea that it only gets faster from here. that the rest of your life will slip through your fingers quicker and quicker until it's gone. But look closer, because hidden inside the bad news is the only real way out. Time feels fast because you stop feeding your brain anything new. That's also the lever. Anything new slows it back down. A week somewhere you've never been will feel longer in memory than 3 months of your normal routine. A new skill, a different route home, a real conversation with a stranger. A single day where you paid full attention instead of running on autopilot. Every one of those is a memory your brain chooses to keep. And a year with memories in it is a long year again. This is why the people who say their life felt full aren't the ones who had more time. They're the ones who kept giving themselves firsts. New places, new people, things hard enough to make them pay attention. They didn't get extra years. They just refused to let the years go blank. You were right. As a kid, that summer lasted forever. It really did. Not because you had more hours, but because you were awake for all of them. Everything counted because everything was new. The clock never sped up. You just stopped looking. And the strange, hopeful part buried under all of this is that you can start looking again the moment you decide to. The years are still there, the same length they always were, waiting to get long again. Time isn't running out faster. You're just recording less of it. Record more, and it comes back.